Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Referral Exchange Networking's Business Success Fertilizer application. As we always say, it isn't easy to compete with other companies that are bigger than you, that have more resources. You feel like you're sort of behind the eight ball with them, but you do have an ace up your sleeve, mixing my metaphors, but that ace is that you can be smarter than they are. No one can tell you how much you can know or how much of an asset you can be. So with that in mind, every week at Referral Exchange Networking, we attempt to make our members, ourselves, just a little bit smarter. So let's get to it. Last week, we looked at the exponential rate of change that we're faced with every day and the fact that it's only going to get worse. Possibly the single most difficult element of this that impacts us day in and day out is the onslaught of information. The term used for this communicational assault is information overload. I found an interesting article entitled Information Overload, Why It Matters and How to Combat It. It was published by the Interactive Design Foundation that talks to this issue. However, although the subject was aimed mainly at designers, the content can be applied across the board to pretty much any business. The information overload, or that term, was first brought to the attention of the general public by a gentleman, Alvin Toffler. He was the American writer and futurist, and he coined that phrase in his 1970 book, Future Shock. Additionally, Bertrand Gross, professor of political science at Hunter College, he defines it like this. Information overload occurs when the amount of input into a system exceeds its processing capacity. Decision makers have limited cognitive processing capacity. That's us. Consequently, when information overload occurs, it's likely that a reduction in decision quality will also occur. This daily blitzkrieg of data comes at us in many forms. Email, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, mobile apps, news alerts. The list goes on and continues to grow every day as we sign up for more and more information because we're afraid we're going to miss out on something important. The reasons for this overload include the fact that huge volumes of new information are being created every day, and there's an ever-growing list of methods to deliver it. Additionally, marketing experts tell us that we must continually create new content, which in turn, unfortunately, often simply results in quantity over quality. Include the availability of content distribution channels and the simplicity of exploiting them, and increased information becomes overwhelming. Not only is there too much information, but much of it is either inaccurate, conflicting, or contradictory. Although search engines employ algorithms to determine what information to provide, as humans, we lack the processing, comparing, and evaluation equipment that computers have available. And thus, we become quickly confused as to what's relevant and find ourselves lost in the informational weeds. So how do we avoid information overload? Well, first of all, allow yourself the freedom to ignore information. Not everything that crosses your desk is important or even relevant. Next, take action without all the facts. This may seem counterintuitive, but studies show that decisions made with 70% of the information available are pretty much just as good as those made with even more. Don't fall into the trap of information paralysis. Remember, the sooner you make a decision, the sooner you can correct it if it's wrong. Next, Create your own information queue and schedule a time every day to deal with it. Don't jump at each email notification. Set a time that's best every day and stick to it. Be ruthless. Set up your own information filter and exclude anything that doesn't match the priorities that you've established. Information that isn't relevant or important should be ignored. If possible, delegate information retrieval or collection to others, with the expectation that whatever you need to know will be summarized and passed on. And finally, learn to skim. Most information will only contain a few essential facts. Gather those and move on. Herman Simon, economist, wrote, "What information consumes is rather obvious. It consumes the attention of its recipients. Hence, a wealth of information creates a poverty of attention and a need to allocate that attention efficiently among the overabundance of information sources that might consume it." Well, that's it for this week. I hope you get something out of it. If you'd like to talk about anything you just heard, or you'd like to know how you can grow your business by joining a referral exchange networking chapter, or even how to start your own chapter, reach out to me at raustin@referralexchangenetworking.com. That's exchange with an X. And if you'd like to be notified whenever we post another educational video, subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscriber button in the lower right-hand corner of this video. All right, well, thanks everyone. I hope you get something out of this, and I'll talk to you again next week. See you later.